Garlic shrimp, or langostinos as they're known in Spain, is a Mediterranean treat all over the country. And typically they're prepared with garlic, simply sauteed in some olive oil, and served as a tapa. But today, we're taking it up a notch and treating them to an umami-packed bed of pasta to be able to rest on and serve for lunch. There's a few steps to today's recipe, beginning with making a very simple seafood stock with the shells of the shrimp that we're going to prepare. And while the pasta is boiling, we'll then put together an umami-packed sauce with Worcestershire, olive oil, soy sauce. You could also use oyster sauce if you've got it in your cupboard, some garlic, naturally, a couple of cubes of magic Maggi that's very popular to use in Europe for all kinds of sauces, a little bit of salt, some Parmesan cheese, pull it all together with the pasta, and sit down to a really incredible lunch. Preparing shrimp is a little bit fussy, but it's not too much trouble. Take off the head, save it for the stock, then use a small shear and go right down the back. That opens it up so that you can easily remove the shell, and you can easily remove that vein that goes right down the middle too. Now that we've prepared the shrimp, we get to put together the bonus, which is shrimp stock. And all I have to do is put a little olive oil in the pan, add all the bits, its heads and all the shells. It's been 2 minutes. You can see how beautifully orangey red these are. The flavor is going to be incredible because it will give off so much of that shrimpy tone. And now I just want to add this broth. You can always tell. Look at the color of the broth. We're going to let this go for 5 to 7 minutes, just so that we get all the best bits out of the shrimp that we can. We'll drain it and use it for the pasta. It's been 5 minutes. Now what I want to do is take the shrimp out, put it in a strainer. We'll pour all the stock over it and then push on it a little bit in the strainer to get all the very best bits out. The other beauty of doing this is you can have this stock in the freezer to use whenever you're ready to make a seafood-based dish, and it adds so much flavor and makes the most out of every bit of the shrimp, even the parts that you're not eating. While the pasta's cooking, we're going to get started on the sauce. I'm using a very traditional mortar and pestle. I've smashed up 2 cloves of garlic. That goes in. I'll add a loose tablespoon of Mediterranean sea salt just to give it a little bit of grit. And then I'm going to pound this into a paste. As soon as it's paste, I'll add 2 cubes of Maggi, finish pounding it, and this will be a core part of the sauce ingredients. The pasta's almost done, so we're going to start this sauce because it will go pretty quick. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil to the pan. Not too much. And as I mentioned, this piqual is so flavorful and it can hold its own with all the other ingredients that we've got going into the sauce. I'm going to add the shrimp. And I want to make sure they're not crowded in the pan because we just want them to saute. We don't want them to steam. And this won't take any time at all. Another drizzle of olive oil just to keep it nice and crunchy. And look how fast this went. We're ready to flip these over. The other side should take no more than a minute. We'll take it out and then prepare the sauce. I want these nice and colored, but I don't want to cook them too much because they will also cook a little bit when we mix them in with the sauce. So I'm ready to pull these out, set them to the side while we put in all the other ingredients and get that sauce ready for the pasta. All the shrimp bits in the pan It's perfect. It just adds more flavor. I'm going to start with 2 tablespoons of that same Piqual olive oil, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire, 1 tablespoon of soy. That will allow us to get some of the bits up and off the pan, scraping them a little, and the combination of paste I made with garlic, Maggi, and salt. This just needs to blend. We want the garlic especially to cook just a little bit in this sauce. The intensity of this flavor with the shrimp and the pasta, wow, it's so good. I'm ready to put the shrimp back in. Add our stock. And normally you might use pasta water, but because we have this amazing stock, we're going for it. Another option is white wine, but I really like the more intense flavor of the fish. And you don't have to use all the stock, you can save some for later. Final element, while this is boiling, or bubbling I should say, I'm going to go drain the pasta. We'll put it in with the pan. Now that the pasta is just loosely drained, set that in, turn off your heat, mix everything up really well, and it's the sauce that the pasta will absorb that'll make it extra nice. All we have to do now is to serve this up, starting with a drizzle of the Parmesan that we're going to put all over the pasta now so that it adds to the sauce. We can always add some on top later, but I like to meld this in with the sauce. Makes it a little creamier, holds on the pasta better, and that's it. A sprinkle of parsley on the top of the finished plate, and we're ready for lunch. But not before we set out some of these perfect tapas that always begin the midday meal in Spain. So watch this video for some quick and easy ideas to round out the meal.